All right, on to the next project. It's going to be a new stereo. I already had one amp with wires running under the carpet. I'm adding a second amp. So I'm going to take out the carpet. I might clean it or replace it. I'm not sure how much a new one is. But the seats, I didn't film that, but it's pretty simple. There's 2 bolts in the front and 2 nuts in the back. I don't even know if this was working on my truck, but make sure you disconnect that. I've already disconnected the back seat, so I'm going to take that out. And I had previously done the back end of the truck, and I'm kind of glad I got to take all this out because I got new seat belts. Since I don't run a top, I got seat belts from an older Bronco, so I can have a seat belt in the back. But I was never really happy with how this looked, so I got to take off the panels to get to the seat belts. So that's going to give me an opportunity to kind of correct this anyway, but I'm not going to film me taking the seat out. Those are just bolts, and taking this out. And maybe I'll come back after I get all that stuff taken out, right before I take the carpet out. All right, so getting pretty dark out. I think I'm done for today. I got everything out, and literally all of this had to come out just because I take the top off, and I need to change the seat belts because I don't know what year they changed, but in the 96, it's a 3-point harness, so it connects to the top. Anyway, I wanted functioning seat belts in the back, blah, blah, blah. That's why I am where I am. As you can see, I've got the amp wires and everything. I've got to rerun all that stuff anyway. So it was really better that I took all this out. And I'm really contemplating just buying new carpet. I didn't want to bite the bullet on that, but I'm going to check some prices. Hopefully it's not as bad as I think. But anyway, yeah, there we go. We'll see what happens next. And my buddy Rolf, who has been helping me with the 4-inch lift, he helped me with the fog lights. He's not going to be helping me with this section, but possibly when I go to do the stereo and the amp, he'll be on set helping me out and getting everything taken care of with that. So big kudos to Rolf for always being there and helping me out, man. All right, so getting ready to take this front carpet out. I got the kick panels off of each side, and these are pretty standard. I think one went there and one down there, but this is the one that kind of is throwing me for a loop. It's got this kind of pin, whatever you call it, and it wasn't connected to anything. I don't know. I think it goes in this area somewhere. I really won't know until I go to hook everything back up and put it back on there, but if anybody knows, you're welcome to let me know. I'm probably going to be guessing. And the trim piece in the corner here for the seat belt on each side was this. So I don't know, is that Ford Ingenuity 30 years ago? Or, I mean, the other side is exactly the same. I don't know, did somebody stuff that in there? I don't know what it would have been doing. Maybe sound deadening? I don't really know, but that's probably going in the trash. All right, so here it is, completely empty. Got a couple things to figure out. I don't know if something has to go over that. There was a steel plate here that I think just happened to fall in that place when somebody did the carpet before. A lot of stuff in here to clean out. I'll put that back where it goes. Oh, look, there's a hole over there too. I didn't realize that. But got to get all these wires cleaned out and ran properly. But yeah, just got to clean it up now. All right, so getting ready to paint the first piece. Like I said, this is really close to being just about the same. Not really concerned if it's a little bit off because I'm painting just about everything. I'm painting the door cards, the rear panels, the side panels, every little piece, pretty much except for the dash. So everything is going to be the same color. But I'm going to go ahead and lay down a couple coats, then I'll actually set the other piece up there so you can just kind of see how close it is. All right, well, there it is. I'm sure it's hard to tell in the sun, but it looks like this is just fresh and new, and this is old and dingy. I'm telling you, if you've got the opal gray and you don't want to spend $25 a can, this is it right here, in my opinion. I would suggest buy a can, spray a small piece, and see what you think, but that's the way to go. So I'm just going to paint the rest of it. I've got everything else. Still got to clean it, but I'm going to get everything painted and be back. All right, so I know I'm probably beating a dead horse about this paint in this color for the opal gray. And I don't even know if you can see that because of the sun, but this is what it looks like. I'm going to paint a little section just so you can see that it doesn't change that much. I don't even know if you'll be able to notice it. But I know some people are wanting everything OE, and that's cool. Some of us aren't concerned with that. This is a great option for you. You can't even tell. It just looks cleaner, looks a little brighter, looks newer, and that's it. Now, I already cleaned those. I scuffed them up, cleaned them with some alcohol, get any grease off and everything, and that was a little bit heavier than I'll normally do for a first coat, but I really just wanted to show you. I'll do a couple light coats, and then I'll be done. All right, so this might be the best light that I've had to show you a comparison. I know a lot of times there's been a lot of sun, but you know, this is obviously not the original color of opal gray. This is 30 years old, dirty, sun-beaten, and this is fresh paint. Again, this Iron Mountain Satin by Behr. And I know it looks completely different, but I think this is probably about as close as you can get to what it looked like new. And just based on some videos I saw, I bought some of this for plastics and things like that, vinyl prep. So I don't know if it needed it, but there you go. That's what I did. So yeah, and I just did a repair on the passenger side door for the bezel. It was loose. I need to do a repair for the driver's side, and then I'll get those painted. All right, so I think this is going to be the last piece that I'm going to show you guys that I'm going to paint. I've got everything taped up. If you do plan on doing this, maybe get masking tape and not this blue painter's tape, because it doesn't stick to that carpet very well. I know there are videos where it shows this stuff coming out, but it's actually plastic welded on mine in the back, so I taped it off. And also, I don't know if you can see this right here, but I had to do that repair so that the bezel doesn't shift around, and that is off Jeff's Bronco. I think it was like $30 maybe, $25 somewhere in there, but of course shipping. But I already tested it out and it works perfect, so I'm really stoked about that. I do need to do one for the driver's side, but I'm not going to show you that. I just wanted to show you the last piece I'm going to paint. I'll come back real quick after it's done, just so you can see. You can obviously see that this is stained, even though I cleaned it. It's old. It's 30 years old. It just doesn't look good. So here we go. All right, there we go. No more stains. Perfect. No way. Am I happy with it? Yep. If you're building a show truck, I don't know, you might want to take those plastic welds off and everything. But yeah, I'm really stoked with how this came out. All right, so just wanted to take a second and mention what I'm going to do. Maybe somebody else is going to have this problem and they might not think of this, but you know, I had to take this off so I could paint it, whatever this is called, felt strip, I'm not real sure. And I went ahead and replaced it, even though I probably didn't need to. This is the inside one, I guess, obviously. But as I'm wrestling, trying to get the door panel on, this keeps popping off. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple rivets, probably just two, maybe one here and one here. I guess I could go ahead and do three just to make sure. You know, if somebody else is having that problem, that's something you can do. Or if these are busted, you know, if that plastic's all busted up, you could rivet these on. And you know, my truck is 30 years old and these were actually pretty good, so I don't expect having any issues for another 30 years. So I'm not going to worry about it. I think that'll be perfect. Okay, so this is the driver's door panel, and as you can see, there's a few cracks here. Initially all I had was this one, and when I was trying to fix it, I had to put pressure to keep it together, and it got really cold here, and I think that's why the rest of this busted. It's also 30 years old. So I made a lot of work for myself worrying about that one little crack, but I'm going to give a shot at plastic welding. I'm going to weld it from the back. I've got some JB weld that is kind of a gray color, so I'm kind of going to use that as filler. once I get the plastic welding done. You know, so like little spaces like that, hopefully the JB weld fills on those cracks pretty well. And of course then I still got to paint it, but yeah, got to learn something new today, so got to get at it. All right, so like I mentioned in that last clip, the driver's side door panel, I really had to do a lot of repairs. I kind of created a bigger issue for myself. I'm really trying to stay away from having to buy new panels. I hear a lot of people saying they don't fit as good as original, which is probably true. I'd have to paint them anyway because I've done some paint, and I just really don't want to spend the 400 bucks. And I kind of like working on things. I like learning new stuff and, you know, doing it myself. You know, nobody will probably ever know that I did this, but whatever, I know I did, and I kind of like that. I kind of like doing that. So I bought a plastic welder kit. I gave it a shot. I'm not a paint and body guy. I'm not a plastic welder, but I'm going to spin it around, show you what I got. Now, I still need to sand it and then paint it, but I just wanted to show you what it looked like before I did all that, in case some of y'all might have this issue and you want to give it a shot yourself. So let me flip the camera around. All right, now this is obviously the back side of the panel. Here's the top. This is all of my plastic welding. You can still see some of the wire mesh. One problem I had was it was difficult, you know, when I'm pressing with the iron, it was difficult to keep all of this flat on the opposite side because I couldn't really hold it with my finger because it got hot. Anyway, you know, some of the pieces were falling out, but I put the mesh on all of this, and then I went back over it with this like plastic stick that you get, and you melt that on. But I'm going to go ahead and flip it around so you can see where I did the JB weld to kind of fill in the cracks. Now there's still a couple cracks that I'm not going to be repairing. There's one right there. I don't know if you can see it. This one up in here, I actually did not fill it. I'm not sure why I didn't fill that one in, but here's the JB weld around some of the others, and I'm gonna have to go in there and sand it. I'm really probably gonna use like a 600 wet sand, and then I gotta paint it. And I know JB weld, at least according to the internet, is paintable. You can actually see right here where it got hot, and I pushed it with my finger to try and level it out, and it actually created a little divot. But I pulled on it. I think this is going to be strong enough, and then on the back I'm going to do some sound deadening. I think I'm going to come in here with some JB weld and fill in that crack a little bit before I sand it. So, but I'm going to get it sanded, put a little JB weld there. I got to wait another 24 to 48 hours for it to cure, and then I'll come back, sand it, paint it, and then I'll show you how it looks. All right, well, door card is done, door panel. Looks like absolute garbage. Yeah, if you do this kind of stuff or whatever, you know, if it's not right or even close to being perfect, it looks like absolute garbage. I'm not even going to show you what it looks like. But being as old as it is, every time I tried to make one repair, it would break someplace else. So I'm going to have to shell out the $600 something for a set of new ones. I'm not even going to worry about trying to find an old set because they're 30 years old as well. So I'll just have to paint them, take these off, put it back on. You know, I had to buy one of the those metal brackets to fix where the window bezels go. Man, passenger side was so easy. Driver's side sucked. The window bezel actuator thing, it's not fitting in. Man, I'm fucking done. I'm sick of it. I gotta move on. I'm gonna actually end this video here with all of everything being painted. I don't really have anything put back in yet except for the door panels. So I'm gonna do a part 2, and that will be installing the stereo, installing the speakers, doing the carpet. I still have the old one so I can use it as a template for the new one. And before I do the back half, I gotta fix the tailgate because it's not opening. But I'm gonna kind of show you what my plan is and where I have what I have to do. And stick around for part 2, but let me show you what I got here. Okay, so my plan is to mount these two low profile amps. I had a big 12-inch subwoofer in the back when I bought it, and I just didn't like it. So I bought these low profile ones. Initially I only had one, but then I bought another one since I was doing all this, and just to kind of make it even. Obviously if there's someone in the back seat, they might step on it, but I'm not really trucking anyone around except for my little grandkids, and they won't step on them. Their feet don't even reach. But let me go ahead and show you the, there goes the stereo that I bought. Let me show you the stereo that I bought. I know you're not going to be able to really see anything. But that's what I bought, and here's the mess that I have to deal with. So I'm going to have to cut out the plug. You know, I'm going to have to cut it all out right there where they spliced it in, and splice in the wires for the new stereo so I can get that plug to work. I think all the colors and everything are going to be the same. I'm actually going to cut it right here and splice into this here. I'm not going to be cutting it right back here because it doesn't look like those colors are all the same, and whoever hooked it up had it all figured out. So I'm going to go off of that. All these colors are pretty much the same, so I should be good to go. Got everything wired up in here for the amps, and I've already started running my power cord. I've got one on the other side, or I'm sorry, I've got both of them here, so I'll have to run one, snake one around to the other side there. But that's it, man. Stick around for part 2, and now I just lost my freaking keys. So luckily I've got a spare set. Man, it's a terrible day. I got to end the video. Stick around for part 2.